Happy Wednesday, everybody. I just want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. You are in another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I'm excited about my next guest. We actually got connected through V Team, and that is a team referral network that we're a part of. And she actually is not very far from me. We're located in the same state, probably like 20, 25 minutes away. And it took a virtual connection for us to get together, which we still haven't got together yet, but it's a great opportunity for us to connect live in person. So I have Omolola here, and I am excited about some great conversation. We got on a Zoom call, felt like I've known her forever, and I'm excited to just have a conversation today. So, before we get started with all that, Omolola, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you this lovely afternoon. Thank you for giving us your time and sharing this space with us. It's really important as, it's summer. I know so much is going on, but thanks for being here. I'm Omolola Adekeye. I started out as an attorney, and because I love my family, I had to think very well. Do I want to run this route of, going out working? I love what I do. It's a passion of mine, to be one of a noble profession where people can really give, trust you with, you know, vital information. But the reality is, the corporate world does not support a young mother. So.
Yeah, I totally get that. I get that. Now, what kind of lawyer were you, though?
I did a lot of work within the immigration arena, and just helped with international contracts also because I had a background in international law. But that helped me really. My legal background has always been the backbone of everything I do. Because if I didn't learn anything in law school, I learned how to read through a lot of paper and big books, which a lot of people they get intimidated about.
Right.
And because of that, they don't really follow through when they're trying to plan maybe to have a business or do anything because of all the paperwork. So that to me is that's one skill I know I have because I know what I'm looking for. So I'm not reading the whole thing. Nobody reads the whole thing, but we know what we're looking for.
I love that.
Yeah. So that was how I started out in business, just trying to find a way of utilizing my skills in another way to support my growing family. And that has morphed into a lot of things for me, which I'm really grateful for. Right now, my focus is helping women 35 to 60, either you're a business owner or an individual, really understand how to build wealth.
I love that.
The basics of it. What is compounding? What are the strategies that can be used? Not being a lot of us don't want to. We hear about financial planners, financial advisors, and all this good stuff, and we're like, oh no, I don't need anybody telling me how to run my money. I don't need anybody sharing. But the truth is, find someone you trust. Find someone you can connect with on another level outside of the financial space. Because everybody needs somebody to really get an understanding of that. If you're trying to build a business, there's so many key components to doing things that we don't even, we hardly think about. If you're trying to plan your household, even,
Right.
There's so many components when it comes to money, finances that we don't think about that affect our day-to-day living, affect your relationship with your spouse, affect how you relate to the children, affecting health.
Yeah.
So that's my sweet spot right now.
I love that. Now, and you said a mouthful about this whole thing of finding somebody that you trust. How do you establish, or what things should they be looking for when it comes to being able to trust somebody? Because a lot of times we kind of I had this one guy that I listened to before, and he said, when we find something that we're not knowledgeable about, we usually just give our power away. So he gave the analogy of a woman who has an issue with your car, and you go to a mechanic, they tell you everything, you just put your checkbook up there and just get whatever they tell you because you're not knowledgeable. So rather researching or finding out more about what they're saying, you just give your power away and let them charge you whatever. So how do we, one, establish that trust as a person who's a provider, but then what should we know what to look for? If we're trusting them to do something we don't know anything about.
Thank you. Wonderful question. And it's two ways. I'm going
Mhm.
to take it on from the point of of me being a client,
Mhm.
trying to look for services and wondering, okay, how do I trust? I don't know anybody in this field.
Mhm.
First and foremost, always trust your intuition. That is how I do things. And
Mhm.
don't make quick decisions. Nothing is too important and too urgent that you have to do it right away. My car
Mm.
is broken, take the bus. Go think about what they're telling you. How did that person resonate to you? You know, if there's no connection, then why do you want to give them your money?
Right.
So for me, I always try to listen to myself right now, no
Mhm.
matter how sweet the deal is. I talked to a lady yesterday for the cell phone, how it goes. I have children, everybody's on the same plan. They're
Mhm.
offering me a very good plan, you know
Mhm.
really good, but
Mhm.
with the new iPhone and everything. But I told the lady, I said, I'm not going to make this decision right now. Can you call me back and we'll talk about it? Because I really had to ask myself some questions. Do my teenagers need iPhone 13s?
Right. Right.
if Even if I'm going to get it at a good rate, you know,
Mhm.
So these are the things we should not make decisions in a rush. Always, you don't know about it. Um, I, I don't want to say Google, because Google can give you so much information that you become overwhelmed. So the first thing to really do is
Mhm.
take a step back, go away from it, think about it. How was that conversation with that person? Did anything resonate? If
Mhm.
nothing resonated, then find somebody else.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So that's what I'll do. That's the first and only thing I would say. And then when have your questions.
Mm.
Where's your pain? What do
Mhm.
you want answers for?
Mhm.
And make sure those questions are being answered. Not
Mm.
somebody, oh yeah, trying to circle you back to them giving you a sale. No, I make sure your
Mhm.
questions are answered. You
Mhm.
know, because I always feel people who come with questions, they may seem to be the toughest folks, but they're the ones who really want to learn.
So true.
And the
So
key
true.
is my whole thing is always making sure people are educated. There's so much
Mhm.
information, so
Mhm.
don't expect me to have. I want to teach you, so you can
Right.
help yourself. So when we're
Mhm.
having these conversations, and I'm saying, oh, use your money this way. We're having an intelligent conversation because I
Mhm.
have taught you to think for yourself.
I love
So
that.
yeah, so any mechanic, like I remember the day my husband was trying to show me some stuff in the car, he made me stand there. I said, okay, you gotta know that's how it is, so that next time I have an issue with the car, I know this. I know what to listen for. You
Mhm.
know, I know what I'm dealing with.
Exactly.
So, but when it comes to those of us providing services, really, we should try and understand where this person is coming from.
Mhm.
Not go build a relationship. Show that you yourself, you're a person with with history of stuff.
Mhm.
I've been there. This is how this affected me. You know,
Mhm.
oh, before you say, oh, I recommend this for you.
Mhm.
How are you? What's your
Right.
family like? You know, How many
Mhm.
children do you have?
Mhm.
What are their ages?
Mhm.
What do you like to do for, do you like the Braves? Is it basketball? Connect
Right.
on something totally outside of what you're even having a conversation on.
I
Just
love
to
that.
just to bridge the gap, to create a sense of, commonality, and,
Mhm.
you know, pers- to be personable, to show that
Mhm.
you have the empathy, you have the
Mhm.
compassion, and you're not just there you know, to make a sale of them.
I love that.
Yeah.
And we have Melanie
Hi,
H
Melanie.
who's she's here. I'm gonna connect you guys. I don't know if you know her or not, but she has a podcast. So she probably could definitely
Nice.
have you as a guest,
Okay.
really educating people about that. She's a John Maxwell coach.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
she's all about leadership and things of that nature. So definitely want to connect you guys. Now, so you talk to us about being disciplined to kind of go through the paperwork, a lot of the hard things that a lot of people kind of brush over. So I'm curious, what is the biggest book that you've read before?
Oh, wow. You ask some interesting questions. Fabulous. Fabulous. On a personal development level,
Mm-hmm.
for everybody, including our male folk,
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Seven Habits of for Highly Effective People.
Okay.
When it comes to understanding money,
Mm-hmm.
I have really benefited from two books.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is Think and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to really emphasize that book should really have been titled Think, comma, and Grow Rich. Because
Mm.
what he's doing is helping us realize that it starts from the thought process.
Right.
And then The Richest Man in Babylon.
Oh, I love that one too.
So, The Richest Man in Babylon helps to break down, in very simple terms, what compounding is all about.
Mhm.
And that is what every aspect of our lives, when it comes to finances within the corporation of the United States of America, is built on.
Mhm.
The government uses it for everything they give us: mortgage, student loans,
Mhm.
car loans. So why are you not using it for yourself?
Amen.
You
Yeah.
know,
I love now that's the one that says that your money is like an employee or something, right?
correct.
Okay, yeah.
So you
I
have
love
your money
that.
has to work for you. you
Yeah.
know, and for
Mhm.
business owners in that regard, I just started reading. I just got um, introduced to a book by a very wonderful lady who owns the Executive Network. It's called Profit First.
Yeah, I've heard of that one too.
Yeah, and Profit
Mhm.
First is,
Mhm.
and then building habits. I like
Mhm.
Atomic Habits by James
Mhm.
Clear,
Mhm.
and one I will definitely recommend for women. You're a Badass.
Okay. I love books. I have a problem. That's just a lot of people buy shoes, purses. I'm all about the
I
books.
I
Okay.
get you. I get you. I'm all about the books. I carry books everywhere with me, even if I'm
Yeah.
not going to read it. It's like it has to be in my. It has to be with me.
So
Books
true.
and travel. That's where
Yeah,
you find me.
it's so true. And the thing about it is I like to be prepared. It's like that downtime. Every time I have a book with me, I don't have any downtime. I mean, it's like, what is the problem? Because I used to be in car line with my kids and everything. And so, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that. So that is amazing. Now that downtime is filled with like Clubhouse. Okay. I'm on Clubhouse in between waiting at different places, but I
Places.
love what you're saying.
I found I pay for Audible.
That's good.
I found
Mhm.
Audible books, audiobooks as that's my car, that's my in-car thing now. If I
Yeah.
don't have the physical book, so a lot of these books, I mean, I'll spend that time because every little amount of knowledge, want you allow want yourself to be in really,
Hmm.
it uplifts you, yeah.
So true. Now, so you also mentioned like when you have a lot of this paperwork, there are things that you really know what to look for. So when we think about, our business and just relationships and, whatever, how do we determine what are the key things that we need to look for? Is there like a process or a method to like key things that we should always be aware of when we're going through a lot of these things? Because I think a lot of people think, oh, well, that's paperwork. But how can you apply those principles to relationships or just certain things? Have you even considered it that way?
mm, Very, yeah. I think I don't know if I would call them processes.
Mhm.
For instance, in relationships,
Mhm.
because we're all human beings, here for a purpose, for a time, and it's in the experiences in those relationships that we actually grow,
Mhm.
and we actually going to wherever it leads us, progress
Mhm.
to.
Mhm.
So for me, I think what I've learned so much as I've evolved in my marriage and
Mhm.
raising my children is communication.
Mhm.
Always making sure that you can talk things out and
Mhm.
removing the ego
Mm.
when it's not about me, even when something hurtful is said or I term that thing hurtful. The
Mhm.
person who is expressing it is coming from his understanding or her understanding.
Mhm.
It's really not me. It took me a
Mhm.
long time to understand that, so that
Mhm.
that way I'm not getting heated and upset like at every point in time. So
Mhm.
communicating, removing the ego, having empathy, having compassion, and living to give love and happiness to the others. To
Mhm.
me, those are have been helpful in my relationships. Those are the key things I look for in
Mhm.
relating to people.
I love that.
You know, um,
That's it.
when it comes to my business relationships, I have a choice in who I say my client is. It took
Mm.
me a long time to really realize that I'm not hustling for the next buck.
Right.
It can stay, but I want my peace of mind even when I'm doing business.
Mhm.
So, who are the kind of people I like to deal with? Is it the person
Mhm.
who's going to rush me or think, oh, get my work done now? Da, da, da. Oh no, I am so sorry. I don't.
Mhm.
I'm not. I don't function within that space. So I won't allow such. So I have to. One has to define who's one's client. Who are these clients? Who do
Mhm.
I really want to work with? And you know, and look for them and hope and wait. They will come because you have
Mhm.
asked for them to come, so they will come. You know.
I love that. Now,
So.
and
Mhm,
so one going back to the empathy and compassion,
mhm.
because these are words that we often use, but sometimes people just have a hard time practicing that. So, what are some tips that you could give them to look through that lens or to start practicing that? Because I know for myself, that was a game changer for me once I learned to really have that be one of the filters that I look
Look,
through life as. So, what are some tips that you could give them about
love
that?
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It all starts with loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you love yourself and you are appreciative of the fact that you're giving, like life is a gift in itself,
Mm-hmm.
and you're giving that life to live your best self.
Mm-hmm.
That begins the journey of seeing. people through the lens of how you want them to see you.
That's good.
And that would open up the empathy, the
Mm-hmm.
compassion, because you're always going to look at situations from how would I feel?
Mm-hmm.
Because essentially you love you're fine with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're not limited within a or with I can't or this is too small for me.
Mm-hmm.
You're just free and like, okay, yes, I'm living, and then, you know, people's conversations, back talks, comments, um, looks, they
Mm-hmm.
don't matter anymore. They really
Mm-hmm.
don't.
That's
You-
so true. I mean,
yeah,
it is good when you have that freedom to have that self-awareness and know that who you are is not a direct result of who you encounter or whatever.
correct.
You can be you no matter what. That is a game changer,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know. So, and then going back to our beginning part of our conversation about, you knowing the um level of awareness with your vocation of being a lawyer versus your family. What were some of those key lessons that you learned or just things that you grew into being able to express as a result of having that? Because there's a lot of people that they have this situation where the money's good or they have the freedom or something, but, something is just still not in alignment. So, where they can have the confidence to understand that there is something else out there.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people in that place. So,
correct.
what advice would you give them about doing, and a lot of people saying, "Are you crazy? You know, you've got this going on, so how do you build up your muscle in that aspect?"
Again, it starts from a very simple thing to
Mhm.
of understanding who you are.
Mhm.
What makes you happy? You have this life with so much abundance around. What makes you happy? What do you feel is, I feel for all of a lot of us within the age range of 35 to about 60, when you feel you have become coming to your life's purpose, there's a lot of, anxiety, and depression, not
Mhm.
coming from, it's coming from, a sense of unfulfillment.
Mhm.
And that's because your spirit is just telling you you need to move to what you do. So listening to that,
Mhm.
understanding that you have to take time to see who you are and listen and follow that,
Mhm.
because the help we get, it's, they call, some people say it's the gut feeling.
Mhm.
I say it's your intuition, which is the
Mhm.
greatest guide any human spirit can have.
Mhm.
It will never steer you wrong. And nothing, and that is what connects to the subconscious mind. So you have to
Mm.
we have to see the wholeness of the human being and not just what is happening physically, and then
Mhm.
that will help to remove the fear, because you know that you're working in the purpose that's coming to you.
Mm.
Because one, you love yourself. Two, you have listened and you have understood who you are. And I can share myself as an example. There's so many
Mhm.
parts of me that I'm
Mhm.
coming to own and say, okay, yes, I can hold all this together as one person.
Mhm.
Outside of being a professional, a mom, a wife, and all that, people generally gravitate to me and tell me what's up. They just want to think things through. And before I
Mhm.
used to resist all that, but it's because I can listen. It's a gift. So I'm fine with it now.
Mhm.
I love to work when it comes to, healing the body and all that. I'm very, you know, I love energy work. I love
Mhm.
to, use herbs, stone, all these beautiful gifts that we have here. And
Mhm.
all this part of me, I used to, no, no, but it's what I'm given. So why? Just
Mhm.
having the courage to see who you are and begin
Mm.
to chart the path to walk towards that. And find one thing every day to do for yourself
Mm-hmm.
to move you towards that direction. One thing. And what I stopped working, even in my business, 24/7, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped doing that.
Mm-hmm.
For the past 2 years, I have been working 4 days a week. I have my Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays to do me.
Mm-hmm.
Me can be writing a book, working in my garden, just something totally outside of me meeting folks and trying, and connecting, collaborating, and all these things. Because I have come to understand that as women, we work so differently from our male counterparts, and we have to honor that. We have to come to an understanding of how we work and, try and fashion our lives towards that rhythm. So that way we
Mm-hmm.
have enough time for everything. And then again, it's not really how much time I spend on something, it's what I do with the time,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And another key thing that I have put in place for myself is having a time to start work and a time to end. And even if it's
Yeah.
just 4 hours every day, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 4 productive hours,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So you might, if there's something stirring within you and it's saying it's time for something else, listen, because it really is time for something else. So the thing is planning strategically of how to transition, because
Mm-hmm.
we can evolve. That's the beautiful thing about us human beings,
Yeah.
having the gift to evolve over and over again. Just as a new day presents itself to us as spanking new,
Mm-hmm.
no filter, is the same thing, you know. So we're not stuck in a box or in a system
Mm-hmm.
that has been prescribed to us, you know. You can do away with all that.
Mm-hmm.
I had the pleasure of finding um, a video of, his name is Earl Nightingale.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
there's this 30-minute lecture he gave on the secret to success.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good listen.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a good
That's
listen because everything starts from the mind. Everything starts from our thoughts.
mm-hmm.
You know, the kind of what we want for ourselves, even if we haven't even gotten there, we begin to build it with the thoughts, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're able to build with the thoughts, it's like you're telling your subconscious mind, this is what I want to plant for myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And as you're doing that, you find that the helps will come your way to achieve that purpose,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And you're strategically being able to plan because you're feeding as you're going, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I love that. That is so good. And I love the whole part about having the courage to find yourself because I think a lot of people are afraid to get quiet, to reflect, but it is once you begin to build up that practice, I mean, it is just a game changer.
yeah.
You talk about freedom and really just having a different outlook. It really changes when you're able to take that focused time on you. So there's nothing like it. So this has been amazing. I can't believe we're almost out of time. So, what is the best way for the audience to get a hold of you?
Oh wow. You know, I'm here. I'm on LinkedIn. Look for my name, Omolola Adekeye.
Mhm.
Connect with me on LinkedIn. Connect with me on Facebook. My website is www.tvgventures.com.
Mhm.
Schedule a time to have a conversation. I'm happy to see what your needs are. Let's see where you
Mhm.
are in that journey of building wealth. I'm very passionate about that, passionate for us women
Mm-hmm.
to begin that process for ourselves, because it's essential. It's really important to live your best life, as peacefully and
Mm-hmm.
with the quality that you want to. And you cannot
Mm-hmm.
do that without planning and planning properly.
Love
Yeah.
that. So true. Well, I am so glad that we got a chance to have this conversation. And guys, we are going to be having an encore uh, conversation on this Friday at 11 a.m. on LinkedIn. So please mark your calendars for that. And we're going to be talking about paying yourself first.
Pay
So,
yourself
really,
first.
yeah, really some practical ways on how we can kind of get a hold of our finances in a way that serves us. So I'm excited about that. So in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to DM either one of us about that concept because we would love to really address those questions on air because it can definitely benefit everybody. But if you want to take the time to kind of get some insight from Omolola before then and find out how you can take control of your finances, feel free to reach out to her before that time. So, if you have any questions, though, please feel free to put them in the comments. We'll go back and look over those. And we look forward to you guys joining us. So, marking that on your calendar. Um, but in the meantime, thank you guys so much for your time today. If something said here resonated, feel free to share it with a friend, just one person. Sometimes you can't even put to words what you got out of a conversation. You just have to share it. I know I try to do that all the time. I hear a quote and it's like, I know I'm messing this up. I just can't give it justice. So, share the video because it could definitely benefit them as well. So, any final thoughts or words that you want to share with anybody today, Omalola?
Yeah, I just want to encourage. I had a little um conversation with a friend of mine who is a young mom and starting out in business.
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering what she should do. And I said, live your best life,
Mm-hmm.
love your family and pace yourself, and don't put yourself in any box and under any pressure. Enjoy the journey. So
Mm, love that.
thank you.
That great advice. Well, I am so glad that we connected. Thank you so much for coming and joining me in this broadcast. I think it's very beneficial. As women, we can understand that working together, we can really move some mountains,
We
right?
can. Yes.
So I love that aspect of collaboration. So, again, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Thank
You
you.
are so welcome. So, you guys tune in again on Friday. We will be live on LinkedIn at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to be talking about paying yourself first. So, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. And remember to join me again on the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye.